Hey, money actors. I wanted to talk about what we're doing for 2024. And I was originally going to do a goals video because everybody talks about their New Year's resolutions. And yes, I have put together my goals and I'm very optimistic about the future. But there are obviously some scary things going on in the world, including a potential World War III that we seem to be mindlessly marching towards, and a lot of other things, of course, led by the World Economic Forum that are really scary. With this video, I wanted to talk about Rich Dad Poor Dad's Robert Kiyosaki, because he is the one that I found in 2019 that completely changed the way I think about things, because I was doing what everybody else did, which was invest in, well, it was RRSPs in Canada at the time, which is a 401k in Canada, essentially. And I knew there was a better way, but I didn't know what it was. And so I was studying economics, and I could tell that the dollar was going to crash. So I knew that was wrong, but it was like, well, what do I do about it other than buying gold? Because that's just going to protect my wealth. But I need wealth first. And once I found Robert Kiyosaki, everything changed for me. And ultimately, that's why I decided to create Money Act, to help others in the same situation that I am. And the funny thing is, I've met a lot of people who have read Robert's book, but never did anything about it, never took action. And so what I did was basically show exactly the things and the steps that I took so that people could either mimic me or copy in some way, because everybody's situation is different. And so they have to use their own investor DNA to move forward with taking action. But that's why I wanted to show step by step how I do things. So I wanted to show this video because it's talking about 2024 and what Robert sees. And I think it's spot on about what you should be doing in as far as thinking about money to protect yourself, protect your kids, your family. And in my opinion, the more people that we get on board, and my goal is to bring on as many money actors as possible so that we can build enough wealth to combat these elites that I just spoke about. So let's take a look at what he says right here.
Well, a lot depends, as you know, Kenny, of how old you are today. Because if you're my generation, the baby boom generation has to watch out, because I think the S&P is going to crash. And, they called it the Magnificent Seven. But I don't play stock market, so it's about to go. So the boomer generation's in serious trouble. And that the median generation, they have to worry about the boomers retiring. Mommy and daddy going to move in with you. And then there's the kids, your kids. So the future is really, really right now, in my opinion, divided upon age, because we're such unstable times right now. We're just talking again before the show started. The problem is our money. Money is fake money today. If I was a younger generation person right now, what you're going to need is income, because AI, artificial intelligence, is going to wipe out thousands of jobs, millions of jobs. And so the idea of, job security is a myth. Retirement security is a myth. And what do you do with kids and older guys, boomers moving in on you? So that's why it really depends upon your age and your bracket and all that stuff right now.
So I hope you heard what he said. And of course, his stock market crash is his sort of forecast. Whether that happens or not, that is a possibility. But the big thing to take out of this is the fake money part, and that you need a source of income outside of a job. And that could be creating your own business, your own side hustle. It could be investing in assets that bring in extra income. And so I'm doing kind of all of the above. And of course, this is right out of his playbook. And I've found ways to do this that are very different than a lot of people. I've taken a lot of courses. I've spent a lot of money learning about this. And I've also spent a lot of money making mistakes as well along the way. And that's why I think my courses that I teach in my Money Act community are very helpful to allow people to speed up. In fact, my very first student that started a year ago, basically, in 1 year has already caught up to me. So it took me 10 years to figure out how to get to this place. And I mentioned I found Robert in 2019. So in that amount of time is really where I started taking off, 2019 to 2023. So really 4 years, but it took me another 6 years prior to that to kind of, what am I doing? How do I do this? So I did a lot of studying for 10 years. And this guy that's my very first student 1 year ago has already caught up to me. So my hope is to just speed up everybody's process with a very fast way to get there, and pays for itself tenfold. And the link for this particular video, if you want to see more of this video, will be in the description below. And you can also see my website, and you can schedule some time with me just to make sure that Money Act is right for you in your particular situation. That link will be in the description as well. Robert's a bit doom and gloom in this just because he doesn't see a very bright 2024 future. There are some ugly things happening, but I also think if you do the right things, there's some amazing things that can happen. And I am super excited about 2024. And I think that can work out for you as well, starting with Money Act. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you next time.